All right, I am joined now by KB Bhullar, who picked up a UD win at Unified MMA 40 in his last fight. KB, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. And impressive win over a very tough opponent. I mean, this guy was no joke, and I know that's what you want. You want to be beating tough opponents to make it back to the UFC. That has to be the goal here. When you look at this fight stylistically, was there anything that surprised you about him inside the cage?
Nothing surprised me about him. I knew he was gonna kind of use that weird, awkward style. Um, guys like him, they use that tactic to kind of surprise you with their unorthodox nature and kind of get you to almost slip to their level and to their game. So if you make that error against them, then they can do well against you. But the tricky part against guys like that is just having the discipline to stick to your guns and do what's working.
Is there somebody in your previous fights that you fought before that was similar to Anton that maybe you could kind of reference getting ready for this fight?
Um, no, but one of my training partners, Jeff Porter, he does a he's a fantastic guy to use to prepare for a guy like Anton because he has the greatest chin in the whole gym. No one can ever like hurt him. He's like borderline invincible. And he takes shots from like big shots from all the guys on the team, like Tanner, Graham, Chris Larson, Spencer Jebb, all these guys that hit really hard, and he just is able to take it and he keeps coming forward. So he was like the perfect training partner for him.
Yeah, tell me a little bit, I guess, about the camp and the weight cut leading up to this fight. Did that all go smooth? Did you change anything, before this fight with Anton?
Uh, so I had like 4 weeks to prepare for the fight. So I just figured, I'll take the fight at 205 because usually like one to 1.5 weeks before the fight, we got to dedicate just to making the weight, and so training tapers down, and you got to moderate the intensity a bit. So I decided that the fight at 205 would just make sense because then I can dedicate the full 4 weeks to just training. And by the end of the training camp, I didn't have to cut any weight, so it was super easy.
So 185 will be your home moving forward, when you're fighting next. I mean, you want to stay with the middleweight, as your career evolves.
Um, yeah, 185 is my true home, but I mean, if opportunities present themselves at 205, and it's like this again, where there's not a ton of time, then I'll take it there too.
Do you feel you hold a bigger advantage when you do fight at middleweight versus light heavyweight?
Um, yeah, yeah. Like I have a huge frame at middleweight, and then at light heavyweight I have a a big frame, but I'd have to do some work to, like, if I was to become a light heavyweight, I have to do some work to really like acclimate my body to be stronger at that weight class. I think. I mean, Anton was like maybe not weight wise like a big dude, but he was like a just a big human being. He was like 6'6", and it was the first time I've ever fought someone where I was the smaller guy, and so I had to use different aspects of my skills to implement against him because I couldn't rely on being the the longer fighter in that instance.
What's the biggest you get weight wise these days? If you take a little time off from camp and you're not training regularly, like how heavy do you get?
Um, when I was getting ready to fight and Andreas Michailidis in the UFC, during that like little off, I'd call it the off season in between from when the fight ended with Tom Breeze and when I started getting back to training. I was doing a ton of strength work and I got as big as like 228, 230. Um, I was really big. I was really big at that time. Um, I was a bit fluffier, but I was like a lot bigger and a lot stronger. I mean, but the fluff comes with it.
I like to ask fighters this question. What is the one food that you just gotta stay away from that, will be maybe like what you have for a victory meal if you want to cheat a little bit?
My coach looked at me backstage as we were debriefing after this fight because he knows, and he was like, "I don't want to see no fucking ice cream." That's all he said. He said it coldly, and I was just like, "Okay, okay, no ice cream." He just said it like that, and I was like, "Okay, all right, cool."
Yeah, I'm a Blizzard guy at Dairy Queen. I'll go.
Oh, dude, don't. Oh man, don't get me
Yeah,
started.
I'll digress. I don't want to go down that road. It's antsy here.
Yeah, that's, oh man, that'd be dangerous. So good. Strawberry cheesecake. Whoa.
Oh man, yes, so many good flavors to choose from. Look, I do want to ask a couple more questions about the fight with Anton. What were some of the in-fight adjustments that your team wanted you to make, or was everything pretty much going, as your game plan was as the fight evolved?
Um, he just kept moving forward. So like, I had to be able to fight well backwards. Um, and then the brief moments where he would he'd get hit with maybe something big and he'd take a step back. Um, in previous fights, I didn't do as good of a job of advancing on a guy after I tagged him. And this fight, I did. I did a better job of that. So that was one good adjustment that I made, that I'm glad I implemented. As for adjustments in the fight, I'm pissed at myself because I fucking botched that double leg takedown in the second round, and I was like, I know I'm never gonna hear the end of this from Coach Jeff, but he was surprisingly nice about it. But I feel like once I get back to training, he's gonna grill me on it pretty good. Um, so I was upset at myself for that. I was uh, I was just trying to make sure I stick to my guns and use good basic weapons because that was what I was avoiding in my last fight because I was getting too hungry for some sort of big knockout, and I was looking for stuff that was too flashy and didn't have enough substance. So this fight, I was just trying to stay disciplined. It was a good chance for me to work on those things, work on the fundamentals because the fundamentals are the way to beat this guy,
And
and
so,
what you saw.
yeah, well, no doubt. I mean, a win is a win, and that's usually, what most fighters are looking for, even if they don't get the knockout or the submission. But having said that, are you disappointed with the win? Were you looking for a finish in this fight, or are you happy that you won a unanimous decision over a tough big guy?
Um, I don't want to say disappointed. I just I look at the fight and I say, okay, maybe like a C plus B minus for myself if I was giving myself a report on it. I know um, I always want the finish, but I think that a few things I could have done better. My third round could have been better. Um, uh, how I was attacking moving forward and hitting him as he moved back, I could have sprinkled just a little bit more on him, and I think that would have done just a bit more damage. I was happy that I was starting to get the body punching going in the first and second round because I knew that was like whether he liked it or not, it was slowing him down a bit. Um, Maybe I wish I would have stayed on it just a little bit more. And what else didn't I like? And the takedown. I didn't like the takedown. I didn't like how I failed the takedown attempt. But I
Well,
mean, apart from that, movement was effective. In the end, I hit you and you never touched me, so I'm okay. You probably got a headache and your legs are probably really really sore. Um, I beat you up for 15 minutes. You didn't touch me, but I would have expected more from myself in the end.
All right. Well, again, congrats on the win. Again, over a big, tough guy. That I know that's what you want to be doing moving forward, is collecting those victories to get back to the UFC. Tell me real quick about the Unified MMA promotion. How did you like fighting for them? Is that a promotion that maybe you can fight for again next if you don't get that call back up?
Um, it's a great promotion. It's very well run, and they put on a great show. It was unique again to be fighting back in front of a live crowd, so that was really cool. And it's like it was happening in my hometown, so ton of people and a ton of support came out, so that was always nice. It's a fantastic organization, and as long as I'm able to, yeah, I'd fight for them again.
And let's talk about, your release from the UFC. I mean, I see you got the Reebok shirt on right now. I'm sure you want to be wearing some Venom gear here, very in the very, very near future. What was that like for you? I guess mentally, to not be there anymore and have to grind your way back. Have you been able to keep a positive mindset as you make that trek to get back to the big show?
Um, it sucks, but maybe it's what I need. Maybe this is I have to view this as an opportunity now to better myself as a fighter and showcase improvements now. Each fight I take from now on, like genuinely work on getting better, rounding up my skill set, and approaching this with fresh eyes versus allowing myself to kind of get beat down by the release and view it as a defeat. You know, like all defeats, we can quit or you can learn and grow from it. So I'm going to choose the latter path.
How are you better as a mixed martial artist now since your last fight in the UFC? Is it just the mental side of things, or have you progressed in a certain area of your actual game?
No, I definitely developed on the aspects of my game, mentally too. Um, Overall, I think the biggest adjustments I've been making is just keeping at what I was doing before. So what I was doing before was not bad, but now approaching it with a, the same sense of like steadiness and belief that like okay, what we're doing is working. Trust my my coaches that are they're also making adjustments for us like on the fly too, but keep believing in what we're doing. Um, Myself, I feel the biggest developments I've been making have been in my striking overall. It's minor adjustments, but they're paying dividends.
That's good to hear. Now, I did want to ask you, are you a fight junkie like me, where if there are fights on, you're going to be watching?
Usually, yeah, yeah. Like I like to be watching. I'm trying to get into watching more PFL and Bellator and things like that. But if there's a UFC card on, I'm usually watching.
So give me a name or two of someone in the middleweight division. Doesn't matter the promotion, that maybe a little bit younger, that you feel like we could see fight for a championship down the line. I just feel like there's so many great middleweights out there, regardless of the promotion. And is there someone that stands out to you that you feel like you're keeping your eye on?
Good question. I mean, well, immediately I was really excited with Whitaker's last fight against Gaslam. And I mean, Whitaker's a young guy, so he's like 29, 28. And the performance he had against Gaslam was amazing. Like you watch that fight, like even as a fighter, you can watch that fight like 3, 4 times and really study it and learn. Um, Sean Strickland's exciting right now. I mean, that's another dude that could be doing big things, and he's fighting Rockhold next, so that's cool. Um, Even Brendan Allen's last performance, he had that awesome kickboxing clinic against Soriano, like real good technical performance. Um,
That's actually the guy that I was wondering if you were going to mention his name, because I feel like since his transition to Sanford MMA, he's just getting better and better. And that last fight against Soriano, he looked like a top 10 fighter to me.
He looked great. Yeah, he looked really good. Yeah, I thought he did fantastic that fight. Um, Great kickboxing. Great use of. I think he was fighting lefty that fight, and he just was really slamming that rear kick, really finding a home for that. I mean, he looked awesome. Um, Edmund Edmund Shabazian's coming off a win over, it says Ian Einish.
Yeah.
No, that says Edmund Shabazian, but they have Nasruddin Imanov's picture. But that's another guy that's pretty exciting coming in right now. Nasruddin, he looked really good his last fight.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's really so many to choose from.
there's a lot of exciting guys.
Yeah. So give me a couple fight picks. This Saturday, you got Kelvin Gastelum and Jared Cannonier. That's the main event. And then, I don't know when the date is, but I know it's going to be at some point later in the year, I believe. That rematch between Adesanya and Whitaker. Oh my God, I cannot wait for that fight. Who do you think wins those two matchups?
I think that Gastelum wins. I think that Cannonier is very powerful and extremely athletic. He's got good low kicks, but maybe that'll get neutralized by Gastelum fights a southpaw. It's a little more difficult landing the inside low kick powerfully against the southpaw. Hopefully Gastelum looks sharp coming off of the loss to Whitaker, and he's made a few adjustments coming in, and I bet you he's really hungry to get this W. I think that his skills, boxing wise, are a bit greater than Cannonier's pure power in his hands. I think that he can get the job done.
Okay.
As for Adesanya and Whitaker, it's hard to pick against Adesanya right now. So yeah, I'm gonna stick to the Adesanya, but that's a coin toss right now. Like, it's gonna be such an exciting fight to see again.
Yeah, I really can't wait. That fight and then the one with Covington and Usman, I'm just salivating for. I can't wait to watch those two rematches. Tell me, man, when can we expect to see you fight next? Are you feeling healthy? If the right opportunity presented itself, could you fight again in a month, or tell me the time frame?
Yeah, I feel really good. I'm just getting an X-ray of my foot today just to make sure I didn't hurt it on one of the kicks I threw in the fight. As long as it's okay, I want to get in as soon as possible. So give me 3 to 5 weeks, and I think I could fight again.
And how many fights away do you feel like you are from getting that call back? I mean, is it one? Is it two, three? Like, what do you think you need to do to get back into the UFC?
I mean, honestly, I'm open to taking 5 to 10. To like, like it doesn't matter to me. I'm not in a rush. Um, with this pace that I can fight at right now, I feel like in terms of just the consistency, if I can dish it out as God willing, I'm healthy, then use this as an opportunity to cultivate experience and get that ring time under my belt, because there's no greater feeling than feeling comfortable under the lights from just competing so often. So the more and more routine it becomes, like, great for me. I mean, I'll take the harder path. I'm not opposed to taking my time to get more fights and then get back. But the big thing right now is not, I would say, making it back to the UFC. It's about getting better. It's about making sure that the fighter that does go back is the best version of myself yet, and really ready to make some noise.
Yeah, very well said. I can't wait to see, how your career unfolds and what is next for you. It definitely is a pleasure to interview you for the first time here today. Again, KB Bhullar beats Anton Tokarchuk. I probably butchered that via UD at Unified MMA 40. Before I let you go, man, I want to give you the floor. Tell people where to follow you on social media, and if you have anyone to thank, the floor is yours.
Yeah, if you'd like to follow me on social media, my Instagram is Bengal Bhullar, Bengal Bhullar. You guys can check that out if you want. I mean, other than that, thanks to the people that support me always. Thanks to my coaches and my teammates.